All right, hello guys, and welcome to the final game of the grand finals here. The Viper and DauT versus TaToH and Nicov. We've had an amazing set of games so far in this best of five, and I can't believe the scoreline is 2-2 at the moment in this best of five. This is the final game because, well, since it is a best of five, there can be no more games, and the winner will be decided right here, right now on Team Islands. So, team number one, to the north of the map, we have DauT playing in the red as the Vikings. His teammate, the Viper, to the south of their island, in the green playing as the Italians. On the other side of the map, in the blue, we have TaToH playing as the Khmer. And to the south of the map, in the yellow, we have Nicov playing as the Italians as well. Very big difference here between the two sides as TaToH picks up the Khmer, DauT takes the Vikings, and the other players mirror each other with the Italian pick. But I'm also joined by Resonance22, and he can take it over from here.
As always, it's a pleasure, and I'm really glad that we have made it all the way to the fifth game in this best of five series as these players compete for the prize pool in the Return of the Kings tournament sponsored by Microsoft and organized by Escape Gaming. The map today is Team Islands, and it's icy. Basically, since both players have such a large landmass compared to regular islands and they share it between them, this game has the potential to go on longer, as players will be able to establish a trade line between them if need be. And also, we expect landings to be more viable than they otherwise would be on islands due to the larger landmass. It tends to be harder to detect. So, we should see a mix of some heavy water-oriented gameplay in the feudal age, transitioning into also some land combat.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And some people in the chat asking about why we have quite a few water maps in this tournament. Actually did a feedback poll on last weekend's event, and a lot of people said they didn't want to see the water maps, and we have taken that on board. However, the settings and rules for this tournament were drafted before the feedback forms were sent out last weekend. So from next weekend onwards, we will be seeing less water maps. But for this one, we have got the Team Islands map being randomly selected from our pool of maps. Interestingly, though, DauT taking the Vikings here, I feel like they've really dropped off as the dominant water civ in the expansions. And what's interesting to me is that TaToH, I really wonder what his strat might be. I'm thinking maybe he's planning on some kind of Dark Age transport, because as the Khmer, he doesn't really have any water bonus. He gets the bonus that his buildings, he doesn't require buildings, to advance to the next stage, and his villagers can garrison in houses, and his battle elephants are faster.
Right.
That's it. There's nothing on the water for TaToH here.
The Khmer have a decent dock tree. I might be wrong, but I think they're only lacking heavy demolition ship, and if I remember that, that's because I'm that nerdy. So they have a decent dock, and as far as I'm hearing a little bit of echo. I think I'm getting a little bit of echo from Zach's mic.
Okay, should be fine now.
Oh, excellent. Anyway, so the Khmer, like you said, I feel like they are going to be best utilized if you're taking advantage of their lack of building requirements. So we might see some sort of Dark Age transport ship play, or just some sort of very fast age advancing. Maybe he's going for a fast castle age into fire ships because he doesn't have a blacksmith or a market requirement. Various things like that I think are quite nice. And one quick thing before I pass it back to you is that the Vikings were certainly absolutely awful after the initial expansion releases, but since Rise of the Rajas and whatnot, since we've made some tweaks to the water balance, we hope that the Vikings are in a much better place now, especially because they are able to make longboats without a castle. So even though they fall a little bit behind in the feudal age due to things like fire galleys, they should be able to claw their way back if you take full advantage of things like longboats, and now fire galleys are a little bit weaker, so we'll see.
Yeah, the problem is, though, really, is that the feudal age water is really what defines the game. If you lose the water in the feudal age, it's incredibly hard to get back on it later on. Of course, the longboat from the Vikings is designed to be a comeback mechanism because of how quickly they create. They're not actually stronger than galleys or galleons. They do work as a comeback, though. So I think in this kind of situation, the Vikings still are, not as good. However, I do think that TaToH must be up to something here, and I've got a feeling it's going to be those that fast castle with the fires. It's got to be the fires. As you said, he doesn't need the market blacksmith. that's a huge amount of saving on wood that he can then invest into ships. And I think that could be the real key here for TaToH, pulling that one off.
Now, speaking of TaToH pulling it off, the way he set up his economy, he's at the dreaded Resins 22, 499 food, but with a little bit of force dropping off, he will be just fine. He's thinking about a super fast fuel age, and if we compare it to his teammates, Nicov, no intention of going to the field age right yet, so he's kind of forfeiting some early water pressure. The Viper will be behind a little bit, but he is considering it. He's just about ready to advance. DauT a little bit further behind, so it looks like TaToH, of course with the Chimera, you're always up to no good. He's going to have the fastest fuel age in the game. He needs to build another house. Probably going to be some fire galleys, I think. Or, oh no, it's the transport ship. It's coming.
What I'm quite interested in here is the fact that DauT's actually docked on the back. TaToH is the only person in this game to actually dock on the front here. And for me, that's kind of interesting because we kind of thought that TaToH might go for the fast castle. As we can see, though, it is going to be that transport ship.
Nice.
And we've already seen how that transport ship can work out so well. TaToH and Nicov actually ran this strat versus MBL and Slam. It worked out brilliantly. They're actually going to go ahead and take both of the scouts across. So that could be some potential scout harassment coming in as well versus these unprotected villagers.
Yeah, and that's something that people just generally won't see coming. So I love that we're seeing this forward here in the Dark Age with the transport ship, which the transport ship is now discounted in the expansions, and you can build in the Dark Age. The double scout as well. Super duper cool. They will be able to pick off some villagers, get so much map control, and yeah, it looks like it's just going to be some double archer range action. The Chimera are the kings of cheese with no building requirements, so can't wait to see how these players will respond because it's going to be hard for them. When we're talking about water maps, players often go heavily on the water in the feudal age, so we don't expect them to have a barracks. So the archers are coming.
They are coming indeed, and I'm really interested to see what they can do with these scouts as well. If these guys do commit quite heavily here and actually don't get scouted out, this is going to be huge, especially because on a water map, you're very unlikely to be building a barracks at home. And when you don't build a barracks, you aren't able to build any counter units or like any archers or scouts or anything like that either. So in come the scouts to the wood line, and I can't believe this issue with the microphone. Like, I can't tell you how I'm almost whispering when I start my sentence just to start it as quietly as possible, and it's still super loud. What is this? TeamSpeak, please.
Don't worry about it. I think it's fine. We see a big battle going on between, oh god, these two scouts doing a great job picking off a villager. Now they have to back off. DauT getting a lot of idle time. Now he has to do a quick wall, and these players are like, what the hell is going on? Why are there two scouts in my base picking off my village? He's gonna get another one. Or he's not. Or he
Well,
is.
DauT doesn't have loom. DauT doesn't have loom. That's terrible news for him as he loses a villager immediately. Nicov, though, will lose his scout in the back. So that's a little bit of a setback for him. And those archers from TaToH coming in. A quick reaction from DauT. I absolutely love it from him. And still, it's very nice aggression from TaToH. The boats from DauT coming over with the galleys here, actually able to do a little bit of harassment as well, but they will take out DauT's scout, and they're fully aware of what's going on now. DauT going to try and wall up at the south.
The Chimera bonus, like you said, is truly a double-edged sword by all stretches of the imagination. This is because you don't have access to all those counter units, but it is being utilized very effectively here. So, assuming that these players are able to stonewall up, and yes, the Viper is going to stonewall up, he should be safe from this aggression. DauT also closing off his own base. I think that TaToH will be disappointed to find out there's not too much he can do here. Crucially, though, he has some villagers that are still alive. So, if he can just put down a watchtower, he can zone the Viper off his main goal, and he'll be in pretty good shape. And DauT already took a lot of eco damage. One last quick thing is that when you're going for a forward like this, you're also kind of forfeiting water control a little bit. So I would like to see DauT take some of his galleys, punish that, and take TaToH's fishing ships away.
Yeah, there's walls coming up from Viper actually going to stub this in the toe before it even gets going. TaToH here unable to achieve much with his archers in the end, and that could actually be quite devastating. Obviously, back at home, he has got a couple of fishing ships going here. Same for Nicov. In fact, no one's really engaged on the water just yet. I think we're going to see the first engagement now as Viper comes around the back or the bottom of the map even with his fire galleys. He's going to find Nikov's fish. Nicov isn't really prepared for this. What is Nicov actually doing right now?
Not too much. Oh,
Castle Age. That's
Castle
what
Age.
he's
There we
doing.
go.
There
All right,
you go.
fire ships, right? Because he is the Italian, so advancing
Uh-huh.
to the next age costs less. So that should give him plenty of money to spend on his new toys by researching War Galley, which for some reason gives you access to fire ships. Will that be enough? Because he's going to lose a lot of fishing ships.
Absolutely. Those fishing ships are going to go down as Viper here comes in, and it's so hard to get away from those fires. It's really difficult. They take down the fish so quickly as well. But Nicov going to be adding in his own fire ships very shortly, and that should be able to allow him to push it right back, considering Viper here is making galleys at this stage of the game.
So DauT trying very hard to defend himself with the galleys, and this is actually kind of nice, because I think DauT, yeah, he has fletching, and there's this hill here that TaToH really wants to take advantage of by putting down a watchtower, but he's going to get denied it, and DauT really wasting a lot of time with these galleys. Skirms coming out for DauT, and I think that Nicov should slowly be able to repel this with his fire ships and make a counterattack on the Viper. The Viper going for war galleys. Once he gets enough of them, he should be able to deal with the fire ships, but in the meantime, I think this favors the fires. Also, I'm still getting a little echo, I think.
Yeah, I'm like holding push to talk now because every time I seemingly turn my microphone on, it goes super loud. I don't know how to deal with this. This is terrible. But okay, Viper here coming in with a demolition ship. And what I'm surprised about is TaToH suiciding his transport right now. Why? I don't know. But what I think he could have done to actually get a lot more value out of that transport ship would have been to use it to transport around the walls of DauT. Why didn't he think of this sooner? These walls could just be completely negated. And that transport ship, it's not like you had to build another one. He could have just immediately sent it to the front, transported around the wall, and hit the wood line potentially of DauT at the back. So I feel like a missed opportunity there, and the transport ship has now been suicided anyway.
Gotta completely agree with you there. One of the real strengths of the transport play not only is it unexpected on a map like this, but also you can just take your villagers, take Bikini Bottom, and move it somewhere else. And that kind of bypasses all the walls. You know, if we actually used it to bypass the Viper's walls or get around DauT's, that could have done a lot of damage. Right now, TaToH has slowed down DauT, and I think that's really the point. We're taking DauT out of the game in exchange for temporarily taking TaToH out of the game as well. So right now, it's the Viper versus Nicov. However, I feel like the Viper has a very strong army. I love mixing in some fire ships at the front to keep the enemy fire ships busy, while your war galleys at the back do all the work. Nicov just a little bit outnumbered, and this is not good because TaToH is really just trying to push in, and he needs the water control at the back.
Oh my god, Rez, I think I was just playing around with TeamSpeak and I think I might have found the option to fix my microphone. I think it's over. The meme has died. I'm
Damn,
sorry
I mean,
guys,
yes.
but I'm pretty sure I fixed my microphone here, or I should say fixed my TeamSpeak settings, because there's nothing wrong with my microphone, it's just all in TeamSpeak. So, I really hope this is good. I hope. Okay, no, it's not worked, apparently. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I think I need to restart TeamSpeak. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I'm out. It's even louder now.
It is really loud now. Don't worry, I got this. I've been casting now for years. Okay, so the Viper engaging on Nicov. Nicov has to fall back as he did get caught by surprise. And one of the unfortunate things is when you're running away your army of war galleys and fire ships is actually the war galleys will default to the back of this, which means they're going to take so much damage. And it was a trap. The Viper going to pincer this entire army, surrounding it, and with that, Nikov's hopes and dreams of water control just going down the drain immediately. And this is quite awful. As comeback mechanics in the water, you generally rely on things like a good demolition shot, or you rely on a castle along the coastline. But he really has so much ground that he needs to claw back into. Meanwhile, TaToH's aggressive push not really working out, as DauT will successfully make it to the castle age, and with that, TaToH has to shift gears, but he has no water to rely on and no momentum of Nicov to buy him the time he needs.
Okay, I think I'm back, and we should be good. I really hope now. I'm gonna be super careful from here on out. DauT, yeah, coming around on the right side as well to support his teammate here. But Viper taking great control of the center as his ships are spreading out now, checking out the shoreline, starting to harass the docks, and hopefully we're all good. I think I might have fixed it, guys. With that, I just had to restart TeamSpeak. Woo! We got there in the end.
Sounds fine now, just in time for the end of the tournament, but not the end of this game. things are looking grim for TaToH and Nicov. TaToH's still in the feudal age. If I switch over to his perspective, he is on his way to the castle age, and this is quite important for him. But really, Nicov losing that entire army, getting pincered there was devastating. What is Nikov's game plan at this point?
Yeah, I've kind of lost my track here. I'm gonna try and get back on point. Nicov, adding in the third TC, he's actually booming up quite heavily at the moment. And if you compare that to Viper, who's just got 2 TCs right now, and DauT, who's only just added his third, Nicov does seem to be way ahead in terms of economy at this point of the game. So I get the feeling like he's just looking to boom it out and maybe go for sort of like Imperial Age pressure, perhaps.
Hmm. And I think that that would be a good idea. In the meantime, though, he has to deal with the coastline, the elephant in the room, which is this large navy. Without any stone being mined, we can tell that Nicov doesn't fear this navy that much. He's not going for a castle along the coastline as a desperate way to reclaim map control. However, he can boom all he wants. He just has to be careful because the possibility of a transport ship landing some units and taking him out of the game is very high. Not only do you forfeit all of the free food when you lose the water, but you also have to watch out for that landing. So all eyes on these docks for any transport ships.
And also, eyes on TaToH, because the pressure is onto him to do some damage here. He's only stayed on 1 TC for now, and that could be a real problem if he doesn't do much damage to Viper. So far, he's actually not been able to get through the walls of Viper, and he's finally adding, well, an outpost on the wall there. I thought maybe that would be something else, but no. He has actually added the Siege Workshop, though, and he should be able to start breaking through here, slowly but surely. Although it is very much all in, I feel, with only 1 TC so far for TaToH. At least for Nicov, though, at least he's got one thing, going for him. If there's any map where this strategy is viable to boom up like this, it's going to be Team Islands, where you've got a very big distance between the shoreline and your economy, making sure, of course, that Nicov can keep all of his economy nice and safe under here. And for now, that's good. He was also saving up for a castle with like a lot of villagers taking stone up here. And with that castle, he's hoping to reclaim some shoreline and be able to rebuild those docks and take it back.
And it's even better when you're the Italians and you have that discounted Imperial Age. Nicov actually poised to get there. Let me see how the Viper is doing on his own advancement timing, and it looks like he's going to be way slower than Nicov. Nicov going to start advancing right about now, and this is the moment they've been waiting for. They're hoping that this will claw them back into the game. TaToH applying a lot of pressure to Viper, making sure that his own imp is slower. Now, we've seen time and time again on these water maps that the fast fire ship upgrade is huge if your opponents don't have mass war galleys. And honestly, the Viper doesn't have enough. I think Nicov could get fast fire ship and maybe take back the water.
He could certainly do it, and of course the benefit of the fast fire ship is that it doesn't require any food to upgrade to fast fires. It just wood and gold, as we will see. So look at Nikov's economy now. He's got a lot of gold income coming in. He's got plenty of villas on wood, but I'm actually a little concerned that he doesn't have enough villas on wood at this point. He's still got a lot of villagers farming. He's got so many villagers mining stone. I think he actually could be a little light on the wood as he approaches nearly 1,000 food. What's he going to do with 1,000 food on this map in the Imperial Age?
Chemistry maybe, but really, like, you're right. It's going to be quite awkward for him with the way his economy is set up. He needs more villagers on wood Prano. Ships are so expensive. Meanwhile, TaToH, on his second town center, this is good, but he wants to keep pushing. His goal is to delay the Viper's Imperial Age enough so that Nicov can leverage that tech advantage, come out with some fast fire ships, and completely snowball the game. And so TaToH will be dropping a castle, and this is one of the few games of Age of Empires I've seen where there's almost a 2k score deficit, and yet TaToH is still pushing. He's still the aggressor. He's like, no, I'm not done yet. Killing this town center from across this tree line with this mangonel. The Viper losing a lot of his economy, and now Nicov almost to imp.
I know. I love this. I like that TaToH's managed to still do damage from the castle edge here. It's kind of brilliant. He's like you said, dropping a castle here on this wall as well. So just applying more and more pressure to the Viper. And this is what happened in that Slam versus and MBL game as well, where he did the same thing to Slam. He ended up pushing Slam really close to the shore, and then when Nicov regained water control and won the water back, he was actually able to basically kill all of the economy from the water. So he's probably looking to do the same as well. Fire ships coming out. Of course, Nikov's going to be going for that fast fire upgrade straight away. And we've also got dry dock coming in also at 40% right now.
What is with these players? And like, they actually picked the one dock that is almost about to die. It was the one that they put the upgrade in. But they're never punished for it, so it's totally fine. Nicov will finish fast fire ship. I do it all the time. Dry dock. He's doing this, and I guess that's where all the food is going. That way he can chase down those units with the incredible speed spike that no one is going to expect. And here they come, putting the fast and fast fire ship.
Well, they're fast. Speed.
They're almost as fast as a king.
Oh, but look at this. But look at this. The longboats coming across from DauT. I see in the chat about Jesus Monk. I'm guessing someone transported a monk around and it started floating over the water. But yeah, longboats coming in from DauT as well. Interesting choice, but look at this. He doesn't have Bodkin Arrow right now. So I think actually he's a real great danger from Nikov's fast fires. We've also got the Khmer adding in a Ballista Elephant, because why the hell not? And Viper's still under a little bit of pressure here, but Viper is Imperial now. And I don't think TaToH's going to be able to keep that castle up, to be honest.
Cision! Someone wake up Cision! I'm pretty sure there's a ballista elephant that's cutting through the tree line.
Okay, I'm now behind everybody. I need to fast forward a bit, because now I see it. The ballista cutting through. That is amazing. TaToH, you genius. Everyone was telling me before, Zach, you need to pause your game. So I paused my game, and now I'm behind everyone. So there you go. Ballista elephant cutting through the trees. That is fantastic. It's a shame it didn't amount to much else, though.
Oh my god. Longboats, ballista elephants. This is amazing. The ballista elephant cutting through the trees, finally seeing competitive play. We saw Malay fish traps. Could this tournament get any better? Yeah, maybe, but it's still really good. So
what a great use of that unit, though. That is so cool. And like that's just goes to show TaToH's knowledge of this and how he's really practiced and played with these civs so much. It is just a shame, like I say, it's not going to amount to much because cutting through that tree line doesn't give him any access to Viper's eco here. But super nice play all the same. And that's so cool. But on the water now, we should refocus on that because the fast fires from Nicov are coming in, the galleons are done, and he's got a big upgrade advantage over DauT here. However, Viper also has his own galleons in the mix, and this is still going to be tough for Nicov to fight back in a 2v1 situation, with Viper also adding his own fast fires now as well.
The 2v1 situation is critical here. Nicov got to imp first, but the Viper was in hot pursuit, not that far behind. And now we have to deal with the Imperial Age Vikings, which they have longboats. This is going to be really difficult for Nicov to take this on. He's doing a really good job at it, as DauT's Navy's a little far back while Viper is taking a fight. Still, though, it's going to be up to TaToH. TaToH needs to build his way back up into the game, get swole, and get on the water too, or kill the Viper on land, as the Viper in the Imperial Age has the trebuchets, which is what he needs to defend himself. So now, we've seen a bunch of barracks coming out from TaToH.
Exactly. We need some AoE comeback, guys. Some AoE comeback for TaToH here if they want to win this game. Because it's going to be really tough now that TaToH is still in the castle age. And it really is 2v1 on the water. But that isn't stopping Nicov anyway. Look at this. He is tearing through that army of Viper. But there are more longboats coming in from the back. And they are now elite. They now have Bracer. And DauT and Viper possibly going to take the water. It's hard to say because Viper doesn't seem to want to bring those fast fires into the fight on the left side of the map. But still, it's a 2v1 situation. And TaToH here losing his castle, not able to do any more damage to Viper's eco. But he's still not out. As you said, the barracks are coming up. And TaToH is on the way to the Imperial Age now, albeit very slowly.
It's a 2v1 situation, but they're fighting like henchmen in an action movie. One at a time rather than beating them up all simultaneously. Wave after wave, allowing Nicov to fight just a 1v1 and then a 1v1. He's actually somehow winning this. This is absolutely absurd. Meanwhile,
I love that analogy. That's brilliant. It's like, you know, if you ever seen Kill Bill, and you just fight your way through like hundreds of henchmen and like they all take the fight one-on-one instead of swarming at once. That's exactly what Viper and DauT are doing right now because they're not massing together and they actually end up getting beaten out by Nicov on the water here. So incredible play by Nicov, able to win that one still 2v1. And now this is what I was talking about with Nicov being able to do damage from the shoreline. Viper in trouble as these villagers are going to go down on this wood line here as he runs away.
Are you absolutely kidding me? Nicov with some serious plot armor. He just will not die. The Viper getting boxed along the coastline, just like you said, because of TaToH's aggression. And somehow Nicov has water control, and now the Viper's economy in shambles. DauT, though, massing up these longboats. They don't just look cool, they're strong too. So if he gets out enough of them, maybe they can turn this around. All eyes on Nicov, because TaToH is just toast. He has no presence at all on the mainland. He tried doing, what was he making earlier? Either way, he's getting cleared up by condotieros. The barracks didn't really get to do anything, and now we just have to stall for TaToH to claw his way back on the water. He's putting down some docks. This game's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think TaToH needs to get back on the water now, and I believe that's what he's going to aim to do as well. He knows that his landing is kind of going down the drain pretty quickly here. Viper's cleaning it up fairly quickly, and TaToH, he is rebuilding some barracks in the center of the map, but it's going to be tough. He's 2-on-1 on the land, and he doesn't really have that much of a foothold. He's also making his own condottiero, though, so I find that quite amusing, as he is starting to pump them out. Yeah, I mean, obviously you cannot win this game with water only, but you can definitely put yourself into a position where you can win very easily with water control. And that's why I think TaToH should get back on the water as well and let Nicov, get some rest in this 2v1 that he's been going on for such a long time. Still, a lot of damage coming in from Nicov on Viper's economy, and that's a lot of long ships, as you said, but once again, DauT not sending them all together. There's still a lot of boats back at home at his castle, and meanwhile, he's actually sending a small unit, well, I guess not small, but a smaller group out on their own, which could give Nicov a chance to clean them up before the rest come in at the back.
No king rules forever, though, and I fear that Nikov's time on the water is limited, as DauT has so many longboats. If only he could just combine them together, get a large enough mass, and take Nicov off the water before TaToH ends up building back. TaToH very far behind, and that's the win condition that the Viper and DauT need to take advantage of if they want to win this game. Still, though, Nicov pushing them back. TaToH, he's got the docks. He hasn't really made any military units yet, and this next battle is going to be decisive, but neither player wants to take it yet.
No, Nicov here, though, he is moving in, but again, it's not with his whole army. What is he doing with those galleons?
Oh,
He's
no.
just throwing them away right now. Oh, that really hurts to see. Nicov, he has to group, and that is a huge amount of longboats from DauT. The nice thing about longboats as well is they do stack up really nicely, and, that just looks so cool to see them like that.
Right.
Look at these fires. They're dying so quickly as well. Just one volley from these longboats will take out the fire ship, but it does give Nikov's galleons at the back ample opportunity to fire into that mass. I just don't think he's got enough. A lot of his galleons are around on the right side of Viper's economy, and this fight could well go the way of DauT right here, and that would be crucial, a pivotal moment of this game if DauT does manage to win the water back here. But it is going to be tough, and it's always so hard to see how these fights are going, as these boats do stack up on top of each other, making it very hard to see just how many numbers are on each side. Just look like Nicov will come out on top, though, and DauT's still unable to close it out for these guys.
I was going to say, if that match does go to DauT, and he does win that fight, it's because Nicov ended up throwing away just enough ships. These fights are so close, but Nicov just, I guess, has superior production. He had the home field advantage, so they were fighting right next to his docks, and holy hell, does Nicov have docks. I don't know how many he has. He has at least 10, constantly pumping out units, whereas DauT had docks nowhere near that fight, so it's very difficult for him to reinforce. As a result, he lost that fight, and now, well, the Viper clearing out all this laming. By the way, the laming of all the stone mines and everything, all the gold mines with these stone walls, is huge. The Viper needs access to that.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. He has no gold access otherwise. And what's quite interesting right now is that Viper's actually made a lot of condottiero here to clean this up. But TaToH's switching back to the water now. So Viper's actually invested a lot in this defense, and meanwhile he's not invested quite so much on the water, which has allowed Nicov to continue in a strong position, and it's allowing TaToH to get back on the water as well, I think, with his fast fires, which are now coming out as well, adding more docks on the left side. TaToH knows that this landing is well and truly lost. Viper and DauT reclaiming their island, And what a game this is turning out to be. It's not as straightforward as a lot of the Team Islands games we've seen so far. There's a lot more depth to this one and a lot more going on as Viper and DauT will regain control of their island, and Nicov and TaToH are now going to be forced back into a 2v2 water war. Worth noting though, trade is coming up for Nicov and TaToH right now. What about Viper and DauT? Do they have any trade going? Not yet. It's a little bit later.
Yeah, they're going to start working on that in the not too distant future. I imagine that one of the reasons why players don't typically enjoy watching the water games as much is that they tend to be faster, more one-sided, and there's not as much going on. But in this match, I could not ask for a better way to end off this series than with a game like this. So much going on here, and it is just neck and neck close. It's up to TaToH. He needs to build back, help on the water, and take this down, because there's no way Nicov can keep this up forever. I say that, but here comes an engagement. Can he clean up DauT's navy?
Well, it looks like he might, to be honest. He's got a great surround there. He's building a castle on the shoreline just to protect his docks as well, close by to that fight. He's also got the defender's advantage, but in comes Viper from the back with the fast fire ships. And that is going to be devastating. Nicov caught between a rock and a hard place right here, as his entire navy gets swamped and sunk to the bottom of the ocean. Bad news for Nicov and TaToH. This is going to be so hard to get back onto the water. And meanwhile, at the top of the map, close to DauT's castle, we've got a landing coming in very soon. We've got Condottiero loading up into the transport ship any second now. We've got the Berserks also from DauT getting ready to load up. And at the same time, they've just won the water at the south. Could this be the finishing blow? Because as this raiding comes in, I don't think they're going to be prepared or expecting it at all.
It might just be the finishing blow, as that pincer, that surround, DauT and the Viper in sync, surrounding that army was what won them that fight. Now it's going to come down to some great heavy demolition ship shots to possibly give them a chance of coming back in this. Maybe some bombard cannons on the land, bombard towers. The Italians have the tools to claw their way back into the water, but it's still going to be difficult. Nicov trying so hard, but what he needs right now more than anything is TaToH in his life. And TaToH still just making some units. He's got the galleons, he's got the fast fire ships, no chemistry yet. He's taking it slow, but right now, Nicov needs the jaws of life, and he needs it now.
Not only that, but they're going to be totally unprepared for this landing. And I mean, really, in theory, they should be prepared for this landing because they know just how many Condottiero Viper made. And they know that Viper's not just going to delete them. Of course, he's going to send them across to the other side of the map. As well as the landing coming in right now on the top side, we've also got elite cannon galleons coming out for DauT. And that is huge. It's going to give them a huge reach into the center of this. And in comes Viper's Condottiero into the trade, into the economy of TaToH, which is completely exposed, unprotected. And I don't know, but I feel like this is going to be such bad news for TaToH here. I don't think he's going to be able to hold on.
I can't believe it. He actually has no defenses at all because he was dropping so many castles, so many stone walls and watchtowers. Without a castle in his base, he has no hand cannoneers or anything. Completely unprepared for this landing, and that's one of the weaknesses that happens whenever you decide to go that aggressive with your forward, is you have no defensive infrastructure. This castle is going to be too little too late. He's going to put down some barracks because I think he wants to make... Actually, I don't know what he wants to make because the Khmer don't get champions. He is in a lot of trouble. Berserk's coming in, so this tournament, we've seen it all. And Nicov, actually, he managed to keep most of his navy alive and take out a lot of the opposing navy by sitting underneath his castles, which I assume have heated shots. So that's not completely lost, but TaToH's base certainly is.
I feel like Viper and DauT are just one step ahead right now. The cannon galleons coming out from both of them, having such a huge impact on this game. And I don't think with TaToH losing like 90% of his economy right here, I don't think he's going to be able to pull it back on the water. The trade's going down as well. And that's such a huge investment on top of everything. So really, really rough for these guys now. And you know, with the cannon galleons in play, those castles on the shoreline are going to go down, and that means that Viper can start to take out the docks as well, and really get his navy stuck in there.
The cannon galleons were a great choice to close out this game, and these late game team games always revolve around that trade line, and the trade line is not safe. It's getting stabbed by some Condottieros right now. So much of this economy down the drain, and yet, well, TaToH not dead. Very close to it. He's bleeding out, but he's not completely dead. But I do think these elite cannon galleons, once you have control over the water, that's the way to end the game. Nicov trying a last stand.
Well, the population difference isn't that huge still. There's about 20 population difference between the Viper and Nicov right now. So Viper is still crippled from the earlier damage, and obviously he just lost a lot of condotieros as well. TaToH could come back on the water with this army on the left side, but at the same time we've got a fight from Nicov here, and he is 2v1 once again with the longboats and the galleons. I feel like the big mistake here is just TaToH not getting back onto the water quick enough, and that ended up being a real problem, because without him on the water, Nicov just eventually was going to fall to that 2v1 situation. And once again, Nicov pushed right back to his docks whilst TaToH engages on that left side. But it looks like it's all going down the drain right now even. And this is a real problem for TaToH and Nicov. I don't know how they can recover from this.
It's an even bigger problem because Nicov managed to hold on and even threaten a pushback, which is incredible, because there were no cannon galleon support from DauT and the Viper. He was just able to hide underneath his castles. He can't hide underneath his castles anymore, and he no longer has the home field advantage from having so many docks because they're getting decimated by those cannon galleons. The Viper moving in, and on the left side, DauT simultaneously taking TaToH off the water, and there's almost no economy left for him either.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be so difficult here for Nicov and TaToH to pull this back. They're losing ground bit by bit by bit. And TaToH on this left side, he's holding out with these galleons, but it still isn't going to be enough. And I think Viper and DauT will close this one out in just a few moments as the steam of, from Nicov and TaToH just runs out here. There's such a huge mass of units in the center. Nicov at 160 pop, 170 pop. TaToH, though, down to 127. And meanwhile, Viper's up at 176, and DauT is population capped. I just don't think there's any coming back from this. In all honesty, I think it is over. But of course, these guys don't want to resign just yet, because this is the grand final game, and the winner of this game will be the winner of the tournament. So they are going to give it everything they've got, but it is looking grim, Jim.
I think they've got one final push left in them. But really, like you said, things are looking incredibly grim here. And I have to say, I loved Nicov and TaToH's game plan throughout this. They had such a unique strategy, but it didn't work out. DauT and the Viper figured out exactly how to deal with that, and now Nicov going for one final attempt at removing this navy, but I really feel like he's just too outnumbered.
Yeah, right now, though, Nicov actually has a huge amount of resources in the bank. He's got his 7k wood, he's got loads of gold coming in from the trade line. Still, I mean, they are going to do this final stand. It's just still losing ground, and everywhere I look, it just looks like Viper and DauT just have the superior numbers. It's so hard to come back from that kind of position, especially with DauT making longboats, because the thing about the longboats is that although they're not stronger than the galleons, the fact that they build so quickly, that's the real key here. DauT can reinforce and keep himself at 200 population. Doesn't matter how many ships you kill of DauT, he will just rebuild them, and he's going to be right back in the fight. And this gives him a real big edge, I feel, in this one.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. He just has so many longboats. The quantity of them is just really unmatchable. And Nicov needs help. But on the other side of the map, I mean, DauT's in two places at once, taking care of both of these guys. The Khmer not really able to go toe-to-toe with the elite longboats plus the elite cannon galleons. TaToH really just never got a foothold on the water. That forward, it almost worked. It really did. But now he just has no opportunity to come back. He keeps losing more and more ground where he needs to put down the docks. And these guys running out of steam.
As far as relics are concerned as well, Viper and DauT do have 4 relics between them, whilst Nicov has the remaining last relic. So that's also meaning that Viper and DauT do have more passive gold income as well as their trade, but that might allow them to cut out a couple of trade carts in favor of an extra couple of ships, enabling them to once again turn the tide of the battle. On the left side, I don't know, I've got a feeling that TaToH might be able to push this back here. He does actually have a lot of galleons, and although those longboats are very stacked up, I do get the feeling that the galleons might be coming out on top in this one, but the cannon galleons at the back are always a little bit of an unpredictable force in these fights, because they can do a lot of damage, but they fire so slowly, you just don't know when that damage is going to come in. Still, though, they don't want to give it up, but Viper is landing across now. He's throwing down barracks on Nikov's land, and he's just going to get ready to spam in there and disrupt that trade as much as possible.
Now, I understand why these players aren't making heavy demolition ships, because they're just going to get mowed down. But I do think that sneaking maybe one in there could be really, really great, considering how clumped those longboats are. I think you can afford to at least try it once or twice. Could maybe work out. But right now, the Viper is tired of this. He wants his money, so it's Condottiero time. The barracks are on the ground, 16-second creation time, even has a couple monks. By the way, if you guys have seen the floating Jesus units that go across the water, that's actually just a replay bug. That's not actually gameplay, don't worry.
Yeah, it's all good. It's just in the replay. But yeah, these Condottiero are huge right now. They're killing so many of Nikov's villagers, and this could be the final nail in the coffin of TaToH and Nicov right now. It could be what it tips it over the edge, and, well, is it what it tips over the edge? I think it might just be. Viper and DauT going to be victorious as Nicov and TaToH call the GG.
Nice.
Congratulations to them, and what a great final match as well. It really did go down to the wire there. It did really come down to the last, well, the late game, and it really required Viper to go all in on that raiding in the end just to close it out. Viper and DauT going to take the series 3-2, and they will continue to hold on to their reign as the champions here. Such, well, good play from these guys. But also credit to Nicov and TaToH managing to get 2 games in this 5-game series. It was definitely close, and they really were very close to taking this one as well.
Yeah, just a really well-played game on both sides, and such a great series, too. Couldn't have asked for a better way to end it off. GG, well played. Seriously, congratulations to DauT and the Viper for narrowly seizing that victory, and Nicov and TaToH for giving us such a close series.